Hi everyone, English 365. This is another episode of The Last of Us. This is Series 1, Episode 2, Kiss of Death.
Hola, soy Lucía de Inglés 365 y vamos a hablar del episodio 2 de la serie The Last of Us. Gary, so what does that mean, that phrase there?
If she so much as twitches, if she just twitches, she doesn't have to do very much, just twitch. Twitches to move involuntarily, just to make a movement. So, Jakarta, 2003. The show begins with a flashback to 2003, before the virus started spreading.
Flashback es como una mirada rápida hacia el pasado.
Yeah, a quick flashback, a quick look back to 2003. A fungi expert is taken to a lab where she sees the fungal tendrils squirm after she removes them from a corpse's mouth.
Okay, so can you explain what tendrils are?
Well, tendrils are like tentacles, like the arms of an octopus. Tendrils, and to squirm is where they're moving. Okay. She knows the world's in big trouble, and the only solution is to bomb the place, killing everyone in it before the virus spreads. Start bombing. So, we go to 2023. Joel, Tess, and Ellie continue their journey. Ellie tries to convince Joel that doctors are working on a cure and that she is the key to saving the world. He doesn't believe her, but Tess convinces him this is their only option.
Ok, acá tenemos verbos como convince, convencer, cure, una cura, curar, save, de salvar, salvar al mundo, y también journey, que es el viaje.
Yeah, so their only option. Bombing. So they pass by evidence of the aftermath. A crater left by a bomb targeting Boston and other cities in an attempt to slow the spread of the infection. So they've actually tried bombing. They hear an ominous sound before reaching an abandoned museum.
Okay, what does ominous mean?
Ominous. It means something bad is going to happen. They use music that they describe as ominous. Sinister, I suppose.
Un sonido siniestro, como música siniestra.
So step in a patch of cordyceps in one place and you can wake a dozen infected from somewhere else. That's a quote from the show. They find infected humans with heads that look like huge mushrooms, and they're covered in plants. These creatures can't see, but they can hear, and they use this sense to hunt. Things get worse as they are attacked by the infected, and Ellie is bitten again.
Ok, acá van a ver mucho en la serie el verbo morder, entonces a Ellie la muerden otra vez. Mushrooms son como, bueno, estos hongos estos humanos han desarrollado una cabeza porque la infección les tomó toda la cabeza, toda la cara. And it's very upsetting to see these monsters. I think this has been the most upsetting part for me so far.
So they fight off these creatures and they leave. Ellie is curious about the infected. Tess explains how the cordyceps work, including the underground fibers that can connect for long distances and can send them running to attack from miles away. So they're explaining this to Ellie as they're looking out across the city, and Tess says, makes it clear to Ellie that you're not immune from being ripped apart. She's immune from the actual infection, but she's as vulnerable as anybody else in that respect.
Ellie es inmune a los mordiscos, a las mordeduras de los infectados, pero no, acá le están explicando que no tiene inmunidad a que la despedacen, literalmente, entonces que tengan cuidado. Y le explica cómo funciona el tema de la infección y cómo ellos están conectados subterráneamente, underground. Como están conectados subterráneamente, porque hay que tener cuidado de no despertar pues a todo el organismo.
So the actual fungus exists. It is actually real, but it's not something that can infect humans.
Yet, not yet.
Yeah. So it's a fungus that lives on certain caterpillars and ants in the high mountain regions of China. Pretty disgusting. Once an ant is infected, it crawls up a plant stem and bites down hard onto a leaf in a death grip. And that's caused by the fungus colonizing the jaw, the mandibles of the ant. And this fungus also comes out through the legs of the ant as tubes. The ant dies. The fungus produces a kind of fruit from the ant's head. The brain is actually one of the last parts of the ant's inside that the fungus digests from the inside. And also these spores are spread through other ants and by wind and water, And I think in the series they talk about the infection being spread by infected food.
También mencionan como la infección se desarrolla como en productos de la canasta familiar básicos y las personas pues los consumían y así también se infectaron. So don't watch this before, you're gonna have lunch because...
So sacrifice. Tess reveals she was bitten back at the museum. She stays behind to sacrifice herself, causing an explosion as the infected move in, allowing Joel and Ellie to escape.
So how did she do that? How did she actually cause the explosion?
The museum was a depository for weapons and things like this. And she spread gasoline on the floor, and I think there were grenades and things in there. But she lit a lighter, and as you can see in that second picture there, the episode's called Kiss of Death. As that zombie, whatever you want to call them, the infected, moved in to kiss her, those tendrils transferred into her mouth, and she dropped a lighter on the floor. That's how she caused the explosion.
So I take back what I said earlier. This is the most upsetting scene for me. It's really disgusting, really upsetting to see how, the zombie, the other infected, transferred those fibers, those tentacle thingies into her mouth. So, Gary, what has been the most upsetting part for you so far?
Probably that, yeah, probably that. This is the first time you see it. And the fact that these things, they're called clickers. And they're called clickers because they lose their sight. And then they hunt using echolocation, a bit like bats. And so you hear them walking through the museum, clicking. And the three of these are hiding behind pillars and behind counters. It's a little bit like, remember Jurassic Park with the kitchen where the Velociraptor was hunting. It's a little bit like that, this scene. So yeah, probably the same. And this is coming to the end of the episode now. This is where Ellie realizes just how dire the situation is. She's starting to rely on Joel, looking to him as a kind of father figure. And he's struggling to deal with this, given what happened recently to his daughter, Sarah.
Acá ella se da cuenta, realize, el verbo darse cuenta de lo terrible que es la situación y cómo él empieza a ser, como Joel empieza a ser una figura como paterna para ella, pero es muy difícil dado que pues su hija murió y él está bastante traumatizado.
Yeah, so when we say dire, we just mean really bad, how serious this is. He's struggling to deal. Struggling means, he's fighting. This is difficult for him. When you struggle against something, you you battle with it, you fight with it. We use it for adversity. I'm struggling through this, and Joel is obviously struggling with forming a relationship with this girl. I think she's a similar age to when his daughter died, maybe a bit younger. So yeah, as I say, these humans that are infected, eventually they become what's called clickers. About a year after the start of the infection, they lose their sight. They have facial scars as a result of this fungal growth on the head and face. And to compensate for the lack of sight, they develop echolocation, so that their sense of hearing is enhanced. And they use a clicking sound. They listen for the echoes, and that's how they hunt. Hence the names, clickers.
Los humanos eventualmente se vuelven esto que les llaman clickers, y es porque después de un año aproximadamente de que son infectados empiezan a perder la vista y tienen esta apariencia de champiñón en la cara que es terrible. It's the stuff of nightmares, isn't it?
It is. So, yeah, this ends here. It started with Jakarta, where everything kicked off. The scientists recommending that they start bombing because they couldn't control this outbreak. And then we're transported immediately after that to like a bombed out city, Boston in this case. Joel still sees Ellie as cargo. It's a means to an end. He's trying to get to his brother Tommy. At one point in this series, they're looking down on Boston, and you see an infected colony, a mass of bees infected, and then Tess sort of explains that they all act as one organism connected by underground tendrils. And as I say, the way that these clickers hunt on the museum floor is a little bit like the velociraptors from Jurassic Park. It's very similar.
Okay, this episode in general for me was very upsetting. All of the at the beginning when the scientist is taking a sample from the corpse del cadáver, cuando le abre la boca y salen esos tentáculos. That was really disgusting. So yeah, it was very good. I really liked it, but I was quite scared and upset watching it.
Yeah, it's not an easy watch.
Gracias por ver el video, espero que les haya gustado. Recuerden que ofrecemos clases privadas para grupos, también hacemos traducciones de documentos al inglés, preparación para exámenes internacionales, y tenemos unos horarios muy flexibles.
Yeah, as ever, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. If you'd like a free demo, we're on WhatsApp 321-311-8620. And we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye, everyone.